Welcome to America, where we work to live and live to work, where we spend hundreds of thousands on a home that we barely get to step foot in because the hours we work to pay for it keeps us away from it.
Work, pay bills, be broke, repeat. Work, pay bills, be broke, repeat.
Poorly. Yesterday, I woke up to an email from my landlord saying, hey, I'm raising your rent. Why? No fucking reason. We already pay all of the utilities ourselves. That is not included in the rent. So we pay for electricity and we pay for water and we pay for natural gas to heat our home. And that bill in particular has fucking skyrocketed this year. Every single month this winter, it was over $600.
I am so tired of feeling helpless as a parent. Yes, my kids are grown adults. My oldest is 28, my youngest is 25. And I thought by teaching them what I learned, which is you work hard, you get a good job, you're going to get the things in life that you need, right? Worked for me. Why wouldn't it work for them? Because it doesn't. Because the world has fucking changed, all right? And now I feel like I see them struggling. And before my generation comes at me, yes, I understand struggling is a part of life. We all struggled. But there's a difference between struggling and drowning, all right? So we struggled and it was tough. But you know what? We made it. We knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel with our struggle. It seems like kids today, no matter how much they struggle, they just get further and further down the water into the drowning point, all right? When I was their age, I was making less than $10 an hour, and I could afford to live on my own. Now you have to be making six-figure salary to get a decent, tiny little place to live. So what the fuck is going on, and how do we help them as parents? I told my son, all you have to do is work hard, go to college, or join the military like I did. He went to college, got his degree, got a full-time job. He moved back in with me right when he graduated from college because he said, hey, Mom, as soon as I get a job, which was within 2 weeks of him getting out of college, maybe take me 2 months and I'll save up enough money for me to move out. Okay, cool. It's been 10 months. He has saved almost every dime and still can't afford to live. Why are one-bedroom studio apartments almost $2,000 a month? Why? Like, I just don't get it. So I don't even think that there's even classes anymore. There used to be, upper class, middle class, lower class. It's literally turning into the ultra wealthy and then everybody else is just poor. Like, that's what is happening. And then I told him, hey, when you turn 25, at least your car insurance will go down. Hell no, he turned 25 and his car insurance went up $150. I tell him, if you need health insurance, get a good job. He has health insurance. He has had a medical emergency this week. Had to go to emergency room twice. He had to go to the emergency room because he couldn't get anybody to see him with the health insurance that he had, right? So he had to go to an emergency room. Now he's out money for that too. It seems like you can never get ahead. And then my daughter, I told her all you have to do because she wanted to buy her own house. My daughter worked 6 days a week, 12 hours a day to save up enough for this down payment. Finally got this house. She's paying double what I'm paying for my mortgage, but her loan was the same amount.
How are people affording life right now? How are people tackling this cost of living on the average American salary? I just watched a TikTok of a teacher who makes a teacher's salary. I don't know what state she's in, so I don't know how much she makes, but her one-bedroom apartment is $2,000. And when she spends $2,000 on that one-bedroom apartment, it doesn't even come with a washer and dryer. So she has to go pay an additional $2 every time she wants to use their washer and dryer. Okay, like, how does that leave her any extra money to spend? And then she said she had a $400 car payment, which some people were bashing her on that. But in today's economy with interest rates, that's really not that bad. And I'm sure she needs a dependable car. So you talk about teacher's salary, $2,000 in rent, $400 car payment. You got insurance, you got groceries, electricity. Like, I don't understand how people are affording life right now, and it really makes me sad for some people. You have people who are like her. She's single, she has her own salary, or families where it just works out best for them for the mother to stay home. And if the father is just making an average American salary, how are they affording life without going in a bunch of debt? This lady who's a teacher started crying because she said she realizes on her salary and where she lives, she will actually end up in more debt. Then, like, she will just continue to accrue more debt and more debt and more debt because her salary is not matching the cost of living. And what's sad is I've seen people be like, just spend less. Listen, guys, the cost of living is rising, and our salaries are stagnant, okay? So there's not just spend less. That's not the problem here. The problem is the cost of living is outrageous, and minimum wage in some states is still $7.25. Teachers in some states are still paid a ridiculously low salary, even though their job is super important. I don't know what we can do about this, but I'm just going on a rant because it really, really pisses me off.
Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but fuck, it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the fuck. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500, so I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours, and it wasn't even like fun, you know? Fuck. Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities.
Who's out here living the American dream, but I can tell you one person who isn't, and that's me. I have 4 kids and I'm working 3 jobs and I'm still struggling. I have my full-time job. I'm a 911 dispatcher. My other 2 jobs, a waitress. The American dream should not be this hard. I should not have to be working my life away, being away from my kids. You know, sometimes I have to pick. Am I going to pay my electric bill or am I going to buy groceries? Because my kids need to eat. This is not the American dream. I'm so tired of struggling. You know, so many people are going to work, working multiple jobs just to pay for a house to sleep in, just to put their head down at night. This is not the American dream, not my American dream. That's why I started posting here on TikTok. So hopefully I can slow down some so I can spend time with my kids. Life shouldn't be this hard. I know one person that's making 6 figures and they're still struggling. Why's it gotta be so hard?
People have been living paycheck to paycheck for a while now. But the fact that evictions are becoming more common, it's just that bad, because you have people saying they only pay $1,000, $1,100 to $1,200 in rent and they're being evicted. Let's just shoot it straight, right? The pay doesn't match the economy that we're living in. It gets to a point where you could take all the budgeting classes, hear about all the financial advice, but you just can't do something with nothing. God can carry you through. Don't get me wrong. Pray about it. Sleep on it. He's going to always show up for you when you need him. But you just cannot budget your way out of poverty. You can't manage finances that you don't even have. People are real deal struggling, and so it leaves them with the option of relying on family members. And here's the thing with that. They go live with family members, and then people who are also struggling or who are barely above water trying to live their life, they sometimes get upset because they also don't want the burden of having grown adults with sometimes even children, multiple kids, coming to live with them, and they're not able to pay anything in rent. They're not able to help out on the bills because they don't make enough money. People are having to rely on villages that they don't have. Let's just be completely honest. That's why it's so hard for a lot of people. People with multiple degrees, certifications, a bunch of education just want any type of job just to stay afloat. They're no longer even concerned with fighting their way to the top to climb the corporate ladder to have the best job possible that matches the degree that they went to get. They just want a single job.
I am 48 years old and I am broke. When I say broke, I mean $0 broke, no money. And I am burnt out to the core, and I'm done living like this. I have worked in group homes and nonprofits for over 25 years now. I've poured my heart into my job, gave it everything I got, but I'm burnt out. I don't have any more to give. Between rising costs, bills, broken appliances, I hit my breaking point. I knew I had to try something different. If you're at your breaking point, comment enough.
The older I get, the more I realize that everyone is just like in massive debt and they don't seem to care about it. Over Christmas break, my car actually broke down and I was told I need a brand new engine for like $18,000. I was like, obviously not. I'm gonna sell the car, get a new one. So I've been heavily on like car TikTok and like looking at different cars and people sharing their brand new cars that they got, Toyotas, Hondas, etc. And in the comments, people will be like, oh, like how much is your monthly payment? And people are casually being like, oh, I have like $1,000 monthly payment for a Toyota. Don't get me wrong, Toyotas nowadays, super expensive. But like I grew up with a dad who was like, if you have more than a $300 to $500 car payment a month, like you can't afford that car. Like if you can't afford to put enough down to where you can have a lower car payment, like you can't afford the car. And it's not people that are then like buying used cars. It's like they're buying a brand new 2026 Grand Toyota Highlander and they're having like $1,000, even an $800 car payment is insane. Or like a $1,200 car payment. And people are like in the comment sections on all of these car videos like, oh, that's not that bad. Oh, that's not that bad. Like, are we okay? I'm trying to save up for my new car and I am purposely not having a car for the next like 6 to 12 months while I save a bigger deposit because I don't want to have a huge like monthly payment on a car. And I feel like that's more normal / I should just go and get like a little beater while I wait. But like, guys, it's not normal to have $1,000 monthly car payments. Like that is not a normal thing. Like you cannot afford a car if you're paying $1,000 a month for it.
Americans are so broke and they desperately try to justify their brokenness. I always get Americans tell me, but the people in Mexico, they only make $20 a day. You make $25 an hour and you're still broke. Sure, you drive the newest car, but the bank owns it. It's not yours. Let me see that title. You call yourself a homeowner, but your house is made out of drywall and paper, and you're going to be renting it for 30 years before you even own it. Sure, you went to college, and yeah, sure, you have a degree, but you're going to spend the rest of your life paying for it. Sure, you have the newest iPhone, you have name brand clothing, you have all the nice things, but your credit cards are maxed out. Most of Americans are one paycheck away from being homeless. The United States runs on credit. The United States runs on debt. Americans cannot function without credit. Instead of the United States of America, it should be called the United States of Minimum Payments. But according to Americans, we're the broke ones. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
American work culture really be like, hey, come work for me, but before you do so, go to school for 4 years, rack up like $100K in debt. Now you can work for me, but I'm never going to pay you enough to ever be able to buy your own house or afford like to own your own car. So you're always going to be basically slave laboring away just to rent a temporary spot on this planet and a temporary car to drive to get to the job that you need to pay off the debt that you needed to get the job. I just want to know where we went wrong and why that is the cycle and how to break free, because like that just does not sound great to me.
And why y'all be out here thinking that the people who ain't got no kids ain't struggling? We struggling too. Just because we ain't got no kids don't mean we ain't out here getting swallowed by the rent prices. We getting cooked by the grocery bills every 2 weeks. Why y'all ain't paying up y'all rent with that tax money that you getting $5,000 a piece for all them 5 kids you got? Now I ain't gonna lie, you know the economy getting bad when you better off having kids than not having kids. At least if you got the kids, you're getting the benefits. And the benefits, you just got to know how to manage them. Because if you ain't managing them right, then your kids going without. And y'all ain't got no food in the crib. And y'all ain't got nowhere to stay. But what makes y'all think that people without kids ain't struggling? If you ain't got no kids, let me know why you still struggling. And if you got kids, why you think that the people who ain't got kids shouldn't have a reason to be struggling? What makes you think that they shouldn't be struggling? What would you do if you didn't have kids? Would you be able to make it out here in this economy? And it's always crazy because the people who don't have kids are always the ones struggling to find a job that will be able to compensate their work ethic of having to work 72 hours a week with good compensation, good pay, and good benefits. Because y'all want us to work 120 hours a week, but you want to pay us $15 an hour.
Guys, I'm so tired of waking up every single day and acting like a 9 to 5 is normal, acting like I'm okay with it. I am not. I've been working since I was 14 years old. 14. I'm 45 now. That's 31 years being in the workforce. 5 days a week, nonstop. I mean, look at my hair. You see how gray? You see all these grays? Like I'm turning prematurely gray. Like I'm so stressed out. People are just getting worse and worse by the minute. Everyone is so rude and so mean. I threw my back out yesterday and I had to take today off from work. Well, I went in at first. I was there for about 2 hours. And almost every single patient asked me to help them sit up. And I had to say, no, I can't. I throw my back out. I'm not a robot. And then they have the audacity to get upset with me. I'm like, your back hurts and you want me to help? My back hurts too. I'm sorry. I've been working myself to the bone. I'm always going above and beyond and doing too much. And I always help people, and I know I shouldn't. And I'm sacrificing myself. And I shouldn't. I don't want to do this anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, I am very grateful for my job. You know, I have to be able to provide for my family, but at what cost? You know, the amount of anxiety and stress I face on a daily basis is scary to me.
I salute the people who are in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s still doing a 9-to-5 thing. Because I'm 21 and the future isn't looking so bright for me working a 9-to-5. I can't do it. Like, I cannot imagine getting up for the rest of my life at a time that was assigned to me, being told what the fuck to do, not being able to do whatever the fuck I want at whatever time I damn well please, or maneuver through my day however I please because I'm restricted to a fucking job. And I'm not knocking people who have a 9-to-5. I'm saluting y'all. I promise I am. But it is not for me. It's not for me. I have to find a way to make one for my goddamn self, because there's no way that I could be bossed around for the rest of my life. No way.
Why do so many of us in America look broke down by the time we turn age 50? I'll tell you why. We've been worked into the dirt. And see, every time I go out, I notice this. Our bodies are tired. People limping. Backs hurt. Knees shot. And feet straight busted. It's like people are walking billboards for what overworking does to the human body. And let's be honest here, it's not genetics, y'all. This is capitalism. See, in America, you literally work until your body falls apart. You ignore pain, you push through injury. You skip checkups because you don't have the time and you don't have the money. And then by the time you're older, your body cashes the check that your job wrote years ago, but then it bounces. Now, compare that to older people in other countries. You'll see 70-year-olds still walking to the store, riding bikes. Meanwhile, here, we got 45-year-olds moving like they're 90. And why? Because in America, see, your age is not just an indication of how long you've actually lived. It also tells how hard you've been worked. And you know the wildest part of it all? After all of that work, you don't have nothing to show for it. All the money you made is already spoken for. Bills, debt, medical costs, food, rent, mortgage, that money gone. So you gave your body and you gave your youth, and you don't even get any peace or security in return. So when you hear somebody ask, why do Americans look so beat down? It's not just age, y'all. It's a system that grinds you up, spits you out, and then blames you for not taking better care of yourself.
What do you mean that grown women are waiting in line for 2 hours in the morning to go buy a Starbucks teddy bear cup at 8 in the morning? Our overconsumerism in America is so embarrassing. Like, why are grown women fighting over a cup? Why do you even want the cup? Why do you even want the cup? What are you going to do with a teddy bear cup, first of all? These are grown women fighting over who gets a cup, and people standing in line for hours to wait in line to buy a cup. Like, out of all of the things that you could be doing with your time, out of all of the things that you could be buying, essentially, it's that? Like, our overconsumerism here is so embarrassing.
Welcome to America, where we work to live and live to work. Where we spend hundreds of thousands on a home that we barely get to step foot in because the hours we work to pay for it keeps us away from it. Where we buy a car just to drive it to a job that barely pays enough to keep the gas tank full. Where our healthcare system will bankrupt you faster than the illness can kill you. Where getting sick is the business motto and the cure is priced like a luxury. Welcome to America, where the food is fake, the water's tainted, and the air we breathe is up for sale. Where the richest 1% own more than the bottom half combined, and they still tell us to work harder. Where we chase the American dream only to find out it was designed to stay out of reach. And every time we get close to the finish line, they just inch it a little further back. Where school doesn't teach you how to live, just how to obey, comply, and clock in. Where education comes with a lifetime of debt and the diploma is nothing more than a receipt for money that you ain't never gonna see again. Welcome to America, where we pay taxes to keep the lights on in government buildings we ain't never even allowed to enter. Where your rights are written in pencil and erased when it's inconvenient. Where justice depends on your income and the law bends to the highest bidder. Welcome to America, where they tell you if you don't like it, then leave, without realizing we had ties to this land before there was even an America, where your labor is valued, but your life is disposable. Welcome to America. where mental health is a crisis, but therapy is a luxury that most can't even afford, where they sell you fast fashion, fast food, and the fast entertainment to keep you distracted from the slow theft of your soul and your spirit, where the news is scripted, the truth is filtered, and history is rewritten to protect the guilty. Welcome to America, where the people who run this country don't live like the people who keep it running. Welcome to America, where survival is success, where we've been trained to call this living, but in reality, we barely breathing. Welcome to America.
So how are we affording daycare? Like, I just don't get it.
How much are you all paying for daycare? I've got 2 kids.
I am so tired of living my life in survival mode because despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living.
I just had a baby 3 weeks ago, and I knew that the cost of having a child in the United States is absolutely outrageous, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. Today I got my hospital bill in mail, so let's break it down. But just to give you a quick introduction, I did end up having a C-section that wasn't planned, but it wasn't also an emergency. During my 37th appointment, my fluid was low and the baby was breached, so the doctors have decided that the safest way to deliver the baby is via C-section. Well, after the C-section, the baby was in the NICU for 4 days, so let's break down all the costs. Some of the things that are listed here, I have absolutely no clue what they are, so I have to trust that they actually put the things that they did in the hospital. $196.18 for electric breast pumps, which they did lend me those in the hospital so I can pump for the baby when he was in the NICU. Disposable collection and ST, no clue, $78. Culture screen only, $184.03. OB US limited fetus, $482. OB US 14 weeks single fetus, $411. Now is where the fun begins. Cesarean delivery, $8,947. Extraction of products O, which I don't know if that's extracting the baby or what is that, $43,599. X-ray exam chest for the baby, $176. Whole bunch of charges that I think are baby's labs, $194.97. This I think is only one of the 4 days of baby stay in the NICU. $4,666. The most expensive hotel in United States. His hearing test that came out to be $1,853. Twice did they charge me for each ear. And lastly on this bill, assistance with respiratory ventilator that the baby had to be on, $30,184. That was only the hospital bill, and then on top of that we also got the doctor's bill for the doctors that took care of him in the NICU. That came out to be $20,123. All of that combined comes to the grand total of $125,641.69. Of course, I do have insurance that covers majority of it, but those prices are out of this world.
A hearing test, charged twice. A ventilator, $30,000. A bill that adds up to more than most people make in 2 years, just for bringing a baby into the world. This isn't a headline. This is one American reading her own bill out loud. This show is just that, us sitting down with what other Americans are actually going through. No filter, no script for them. Just the real numbers and the real weight of carrying them. If any part of this sounds like your own life, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hit subscribe right now if you want to keep hearing these stories, because this is just the first one, and there's more coming that hits just as close. Let's stay right here for a second, because having a kid in this country doesn't stop costing you the day you leave the hospital. It just changes shape.
So how are we affording daycare? Like, I just don't get it, because we recently had to start looking for another daycare because our daycare was like, we're going to change our hours. We're now going to close at 4:30. And we're like, what? We don't get out until 5. So we have to look for another daycare. How are we affording it? Are we selling livers? Are we selling kidneys? What's the plan? Because this is ridiculous, you guys. So we have 2 toddlers and we also have a 5-year-old. He's my stepson, so we don't have to take him to daycare
5 days a week, like the entire month full time. You know, we have them every other week. So check this out. The first daycare was like, okay, we can charge you for your 2-year-old $300 a week. That's $1,200 a month for one kid. And with my 3-year-old and the 5-year-old, which I said he wouldn't go full time, it comes out to $3,400 a month, you guys. And they still want to charge me for the weeks that my 5-year-old doesn't go because we're saving his spot. So I'm like, there's no freaking way, right? Also, another daycare. This one was a little bit more affordable, but it was like, we can only take them 3 days out of the week, right? It was going to be $1,730. And this was having to pay as well for the weeks that we don't have the 5-year-old. Which is crazy because it's like, we're just giving you free money. He's not going to daycare. You're not watching him. So why are we having to pay? Right? So this was another daycare here. So this was a different daycare that I went, and they were like, okay, we can charge you for your daughter $220 a week, not even a month, right? A week. And then for the other 2 boys, in a month period, it would be $780. So everything combined is $2,440. That is a mortgage payment, you guys. That is way more than a mortgage payment. That's just including daycare. And keep in mind that my kids don't need to go 5 days a week. We only need 3 days a week, maybe sometimes 4. And we're just like, what's the deal? Like, don't call me Dulce anymore. Call me Candy on the weekends, because there's no way people are just going to work to pay for daycare. Like, how is that even possible? Is it even worth having 2 parents work when you're having to pay so much in daycare? I just can't wrap my mind around this. Crazy to me. I don't know how people are affording daycare, especially when you have multiple children. Like, we need to work in order to be able to provide for a family. But then it's like, the more you work, the more daycare you need, where it's like, you need to pay more. So I don't know that it's even worth 2 parents working nowadays. This is ridiculous, you guys. This is scary.
How much are you all paying for daycare? I've got 2 kids, okay? I am paying $2,675, and that is with a sibling discount. My daughter, who just moved up from the infant room, when she was in the infant room, her tuition was $1,764 a month. $1,700. How can anybody afford daycare? My son, he's 4, so he's in pre-K right now. His tuition is $1,161 a month. Can he be in kindergarten yet? Can I enroll him? I have 1 more year. Drop in the comments how much you guys are paying for daycare.
At this point, I seriously think Gen Z is just screwed. In 2026, Gen Z just simply earns way less than it costs to survive. The average Gen Zer makes about $25K a year, which is around $21,000 a month, and spends basically all of it on bills or rent. Nearly half of Gen Z runs out of money before the end of the month ends, and that's not just budgeting, that's just survival at that point. And don't get me started on student loan debt, because the average Gen Zer also has about $30K of student loan debt on top of all of that. We are spending more on essentials than any other previous generation, and wages just keep going down, and the cost of living just keeps going up. You're not failing in life. The system is just completely fucked us over. Budgeting does help, don't get me wrong. I still use mine to budget and track all of my expenses, but the system is still failing us.
Living in America in 2026 literally feels like the biggest scam. Millions of Americans wake up at the crack of dawn every morning, rush to their 9-to-5s that don't even pay us a livable wage. Taxes are a scam. Bank accounts are a scam. It feels like we're just all out here running in circles, running around like chickens, yet we keep getting further and further behind. Once you feel like you finally have gotten ahead and have been able to save a few $100s after paying all of your bills, you just come to find out that there's another past due bill that needs to be paid. Once you take 1 step forward, it feels like you take 1,000 steps back. People call it adulthood. People call it life. As you age, as you get older, it feels like that hamster wheel to nowhere just keeps moving faster and faster and faster. And the best part is, when you're all out of hope, people always tell you to hang on, it only gets worse. Whether you work 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or 0 jobs, it feels like we're all on the same sinking ship, getting nothing out of it.
I need to know who the is in charge. Who I need to talk to. Because listen, when I tell y'all, I've been looking for a new job because I'm sick and tired of the job that I'm at. And I really don't care. Honestly, I don't care. These jobs do not pay enough for what the they be wanting you to do. And honestly, it's like, are y'all employers, are y'all paying attention to the cost of living out here? Are you paying attention to the fact that these groceries everything has gone up, but our pay? I'm sick of going to work I'm sick of going to work and I can barely pay my bills at the end of the month. These jobs, like, they be wanting you to bust your ass, go above and beyond, be there 6 days a week from 8 to 5, missing doctor's appointments, can't do shit with your motherfucking life but work for crumbs. And I'm sick of it. We got kids out here, we got life out here, life in. This shit is just not adding up, and y'all wonder why motherfuckers is scamming, getting in the streets, selling, doing what the they need to do to make ends meet. Y'all wonder why. Like, y'all wonder, this shit is not realistic out here, and I'm really sick of it. Like, I want to buy a house. I want to do all of that shit. But goddamn, I can't even save $1 because shit is so fucking expensive out here. These jobs don't want to give no raises, and the new jobs ain't paying shit. Entry-level positions starting at $16 an hour for motherfuckers with a bachelor's degree.
Okay, but tell me why I'm working overtime and I'm still broke. And now, don't get me wrong, I make good money. I make over $25 an hour. But I do have 3 kids and a wife. And let me tell you, leading a family is financially stressful. I work all the overtime I'm allowed to get. Anytime I can get any overtime, I always work it. But no matter how much overtime I work, it doesn't seem like this paycheck to paycheck thing will ever end. And that's just something that I deal with and I kind of internalize and I don't talk about. But I can't be the only one that feels this way, right? I mean, surely there are other people out there who are tired of just getting by, man. Like, when I was in high school, just 10 years ago, like, $10 or $12 an hour was really good money. And I remember thinking, if I could just get out and make $15 an hour, I'm set. I'll have a good savings. I'll be able to afford a house, a car. I'm 29 years old. And though some of it is, actually, I would say a lot of it is because of some of the decisions I made in my teenage years and early adulthood. A lot of why I don't have a house is because of the economy and how shit is just expensive. Like, I don't know. It's disgusting, to be honest. Like, just to live and not have any money to do anything with. If you agree, let me know in the comments. But what are we doing about it? That's another thing. You know, instead of complaining about it, what are we doing about it? Let me know some side hustles. I've tried a whole lot of stuff, but mostly this TikTok right here, if you watched this point, you're helping me get to that goal. So I appreciate it.
A father working